So good morning, students. It's time. We'll start the class. Okay. So I hope my audio is clear and you're able to see the super mesh text which I am projecting. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
This is a
Yes, sir.
tricky topic which I have missed in Unit 1. It is super mesh and there is two concepts, super mesh and super node. Normal mesh analysis we know, normal node analysis we know. But in certain case, you cannot apply mesh analysis to the circuit directly. In that case, you have to identify what is called as a super mesh. And what is the condition on when you have to use super meshes? See, when a current source is common to two loops, you have to apply super mesh. That is the logic. See, here you have the circuit which I am showing, you have three loops, and you see a current source here, which is common to both loop 2 and loop 3. So you cannot say this current source belong only to loop 2 or only to loop 3 because it is common to both loop 2 and loop 3, right? So I normally, if you write KVL, you will get three equations. But additionally, this current source is also common to both loop 2 and loop 3. So you will get one more equation. So four equations you will get. But we have only three unknowns, I1, I2, I3. So that is contradictory because when you have three unknowns, you should have only three equations. So when you have two unknowns, you should have only two equations. But when you have more number of equations than the number of unknown parameters, then you cannot get the unique solution. So for that case, we are going to go for super mesh analysis. Is the technique clear? Why? What is super mesh? First, super mesh is a technique used for analyzing circuits where a current source is common to two loops. See, normally if you solve a mesh analysis, you will be drawing the loop currents and you will be writing KCL. You will be writing KVL, correct? But when you come to loop one, no issues because it is a simple loop. When you come to loop two, you are assuming a current direction I2 here and one more current is flowing, 13 amps is flowing like this. So you cannot clearly write what is the voltage across this current source because in KVL you will be writing the voltage, right? So that becomes difficult. So same way for loop 2 and loop 3, I cannot write the KVL equations easily. So because the current source is common to loop 2 and loop 3. So in that case, you have to go for super mesh analysis method. Is anybody having doubts on why we are going for super mesh? So I told you the condition. You see the circuit first. If you find the circuit as normal, you go for KVL or KCL. You'll get the answer straightforward. But if you find the circuit is having any current source is common to two loops, then you have to definitely go for super mesh. And you see here, the current source is common to loop 2 and loop 3. So we need to use super mesh here. And two methods of solving this problem is available. One method is using conventional Kirchhoff's voltage law. I will be solving both the methods now. And the second method is using super mesh analysis. And both will give the same answer. Okay. So first, we'll solve it using conventional method. Okay. I'm going to solve using conventional method. Since you have three loops and I'm going to apply KVL, I'm going to assume the voltage across the current source as V13 because it is a 13 amp source, right? So I'm going to assume the voltage across the current source as V13 and current is going from bottom to top. So bottom portion polarity is plus, top portion polarity is minus. So for now, what you have to think, this is going to be like a voltage source having a polarity of V13. When you're applying KVL, you should assume the current source to be a potential voltage source with polarity V13 and direction is plus at the bottom and minus at the top. Any doubts in this? Any doubts you can ask? See, there are two methods of solving are there. One is using conventional KVL and second method is using super mesh. I am going to teach the first method using conventional Kirchhoff voltage law. So when you write the Kirchhoff voltage law equation in loop 1, 2, and 3, you need to have either resistance value or voltage value and the current circulating. But here in the second and third loop, you see you have current circulating as I2 and I3, but additionally you have 13 amp current also. So for that only what I'm doing, I'm assuming the 13 amp current source to be having a potential of V13 with polarity plus at the bottom and minus at the top. So now don't worry about this current source. Just apply KVL. in all the three loops. Yes, so we are going to apply KVL in all the three loops. Prasanna, you are there?
Yes, sir.
Can you say the KVL equation in loop 1?
75
75.
minus 4I1
Very good.
minus 5 into I1 minus I2 equal to 0.
Very good. See here, 75 minus 4I1 minus 5 into I1 minus I2 equal to 0. Simplify it. So you get 75 equal to 9I1 minus 5I2. Loop 1 is straightforward because there is no complication in that. Okay, so loop 1 equation you can write directly. Prasanna Kumar. Prasanna Kumar, you are there? Prasanna Kumar. I'm going to remove those who are not going to answer me. I'm going to do that. So attendance also you will not get. You will not get internal marks also. So when the purpose of the meeting is to ensure that everybody is attentive in the class. So if you are not going to respond to me, I'm going to remove you from the meeting. Prasanna Kumar, you are there. Last call to you. Preetham. Preetham, you are there. Preetham is not there. Preetham Raj. Preetham Raj. Preetham Raj. No, so I'm going to remove you. Pratosh.
So
Yes, can you say the KVL equation in loop 2?
yes,
Yes.
V13 minus 5 into I2 minus I1.
Equal to 0, correct?
Yeah, 0.
So this is, anybody is having doubt in second equation, see, don't think the current source is there. See, we have assumed the current source voltage to be V13. And you see direction current is flowing away from voltage source. So it is V13 minus 5 into I2 minus I1 equal to 0. Or you get V13 equal to 5I2 minus 5I1. This is your equation number 2. Anybody is having doubt in equation 1 and 2? Anybody is having doubt, you can ask me. In equation 1 and 2. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Same way, loop 3. Pranav Manikandan. Pranav Manikandan, you are there?
Yes, sir.
Can you say me the equation in loop 3? What will be the KVL equation in loop 3?
V13 minus 6 I4
Okay.
minus 13 is equal to 0.
Is it correct? See the polarity of current entering the voltage source and leaving the voltage source. 13 volt, it is entering at plus and leaving at minus. So what is the polarity of 13 volt?
Plus 13. Plus 13 is equal to 0.
Plus 13?
Oh, my.
See the first loop for 75 watt. How did we write plus 75? The current is entering through minus and leaving a minus to plus means it is plus, right? So see in 13 volt, how will the sign come?
For entering through plus and leaving through minus, sir.
It is plus or minus?
Minus 13 is equal to 0.
Minus 13. Then for that V13, what is the polarity?
Minus V13.
Minus V13. Then
Minus
for
6.
6 ohm?
Minus 6.
Minus 6. Yes, minus 6.
I4 minus 13 is equal to 0.
Yes. Is it clear the equation what I have written?
Yes, sir.
This is your equation number 3. See, I1, I2, I3 are our parameters, right? And this V13 is an unknown parameter to us. So we have to eliminate this V13. So we have to use equation 2 and 3 to eliminate V13. So you see in equation 2, I have V13 equal to 5/2 minus 5/1. And in equation 3, I have minus V13 equal to 6I3 plus 13. So if you add the two equations, you can eliminate V13. So this will be your fourth equation. I think I made a mistake here. Here you should get minus sign. Correct? Check
Yes,
the
sir.
Yes,
equation.
sir.
Yes, sir.
I missed the minus sign for V13, but the equation number 3 is correct actually. Minus V13 equal to 6I3 plus 13. I'll show you the diagram again. See, when the current is entering through an voltage source from plus to minus, we told the logic to be minus. So it is minus 13 volt. Again, plus to minus V13 minus 6I3 equal to 0. Okay, see here, minus V13 minus 6I3 minus 13 equal to 0. From this, find minus V13. Because here I have plus V13. So if I add both, this V13 will get cancelled. So see, if I'm going to add both, our LHS is going to be 0. RHS, you see, this 5I1 will be there, minus 5I1. I2 terms, you see here, 5I2, that will be there. I3, 6I3 will be there, plus 13 will be there. So all the terms will be adding up and if you rearrange, you get 5I1 minus 5I2 minus 6I3 equal to 13. And see here, this 13 amp current source is coming into the picture indirectly here, equal to 13. This 13 is a 13 amp source. We didn't consider that 13 amp source, but we considered, sorry, I think that one is for the voltage source. So sorry for that. And this 13 is your voltage source. And one more equation you have with the current source, you see, I2 is flowing from top to bottom and I3 is flowing from bottom to top. But your direction of current source is also from bottom to top. So I3 is dominating and I2 is in the opposite direction. So I can write I3 minus I2 equal to 13 amperes. Is that clear? This is your third equation. I3 minus I2 equal to 13 amperes. See, for solving the unknown currents I1, I2, I3, we need three equations. From first loop, we got one equation. That is straightforward. Equation number 1. Applying second and third loop KVL, we got two more equations, but the two equations had V13. We have to eliminate V13 because it is also an unknown. So for eliminating V13, I'm going to add equation 2 and 3. So this is your second equation. And one more equation I need to get, that is using the current source. Current source direction, you see it is flowing upwards. In the loop 2 and 3, you see I2 is flowing downward, I3 is flowing upwards, and I3 and 13 amp current source direction are same. Okay, so difference is going to be 13 amperes. So I3 minus I2 equal to 13 amperes. So this is your last equation. So now you see we have three equations. We can solve and get the value of I1, I2, and I3. Please solve the equations and send me the answers. Others, if you have doubts, please ask. If something is not clear, if you request, I'll explain. Otherwise, I will not simply waste my energy explaining, because you have to ask doubts if you have. If something is not clear, you have to ask.
Sir, can you explain again how I3 is dominating, sir?
Last equation of
Yes, sir.
two equations, you are clear how to get the first and fourth equation.
Yes, sir.
See, one more equation that definitely you have to use the current source. See, for three equations, first equation is using the first loop. Second equation is using loop 2 and 3 combined because we're eliminating the voltage source. Third equation is using the current source, which is common. See, in loop 2, I2 is flowing from top to bottom. In loop 3, I3 is flowing from bottom to top. See the current source direction and which current direction is same. The 13 amp current direction and I3 direction is same, which means I3 is dominating. See, effectively, you have to subtract it. How to subtract? Whether it is I3 minus I2 or I2 minus I3 depends on the current source direction. The current source and I3 are the same direction. So first I3 you have to write, minus I2 you have to write. That is the meaning. It's just like 5 amperes current is going out, 2 amperes current is coming in. So effectively, how much is going out? 3 amperes only going out, right? The same logic here. I3 is going out, I3 is going out, I2 is coming in. So effectively the current is I3 minus I2. Why I3 minus I2? Because direction is upwards. If the direction of current source is downwards, I will be using I2 minus I3. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
See, what we are solving is the first method using mesh analysis, conventional method using mesh analysis. What technique we have followed? We have assumed the potential across the current source to be a constant, and we have written the two equations in terms of that constant, eliminated that constant. That is what technique we have followed. Innum super mesh pakala. This is a super mesh circuit, but we have solved it using normal KVL only. Super mesh line, no, it will become very easy. So three equations are there. Please solve it and say me the answer. You can use Cramer's rule. You can use substitution, elimination, do anything and say me the answer.
Sir, for I1 5 ampere, sir.
If you're using Cramer's rule, can anybody say the value of delta?
So delta minus 74, sir.
Yes. See here, delta is minus 74. Yes.
Delta 1 minus 370, sir.
Very good.
Delta 2 444.
Yes.
Delta 3 is minus 518, sir.
Yes. So if you solve, you get I1 as 5 amperes, I2 is minus 6, and I3 is 7, correct?
Yes, sir.
See, I2 is minus 6 indicates that the direction what we have assumed is wrong. So I2 should be flowing in the other way. But what we have assumed is clockwise. But I2 is flowing in the anti-clockwise direction. As per the answer what you get. Other currents you see, they are positive, which means the direction is correct. I will show the answers. I'll minimize and show so that you can see all the thing in a single page. Yes, see here you are seeing delta, delta 1, delta 2, delta 3, I1, I2, and I3. And chances you can make mistake in determinant value. So you have to do it very, very carefully. Even though you write all the equations correctly, some may do mistake in finding the determinant value. After getting the answer, what you should do, substitute the answers back in the equation and cross-check your answer, whether all the three equations are getting satisfied. If that is okay, then your answer is perfectly correct. Otherwise, you have to see where you have made mistake in the Cramer's rule. And I feel Cramer's rule should be time-saving method for solving the equations. According to me, you may feel any other method simple, but according to me, Cramer's rule should make your process simple. And third equation, I wrote I3 minus I2 is 13 amps, right? So that is also satisfied. You see 7 minus of minus 6 is 13. So 13 amp is splitting into, it is splitting as 7 ampere in this loop. It is splitting into 6 ampere in this loop. That is how it is getting split. So in loop 1, current is flowing in clockwise. In loop 2, anti-clockwise. In loop 3, also clockwise. So only in loop 2, what we have assumed is wrong. It should be the other way around. I am showing the answers. At least please note it. If you are not getting it, you can solve it later. Anybody is having doubts in solving by normal method? See, again, two methods are there. I recommend you to do it by any method, whichever you like. There is no restriction on what method you have to follow. You can use either super mesh method or you can use KVL as you like. Can we go to super mesh method? If you are okay with the first method. Anybody is having doubt in first method, you can ask. If anything is not clear, you can ask.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, can you explain the second loop, sir?
Which one?
That second loop, sir.
Second equation, huh?
Yes, sir.
See, since the second loop is going to have a current source which is common to both second loop and third loop, so I cannot write I cannot get a single equation for loop 2. I'll be getting two equations for loop 2 and loop 3, and I have to eliminate the current source. For that, what I'm doing, I'm assuming the current source to be having a potential of V13. And the polarity is, when current is moving when the current is moving upwards means it is entering at positive, it is leaving as negative, right? So the polarity of V13 is plus will be at the bottom, minus will be at the top. And it is just like any, it is you have to consider this to be an voltage source. So the voltage source, you see current is flowing like this, minus to plus means plus. So V13, and only one resistance you have here, 5. And 5, you see I1 is flowing like this and I2 is flowing like this. So effectively the current is I2 minus I1. So minus 5 into I2 minus I1 equal to 0.
Okay, sir.
Same way, we'll be doing it for loop 3. And our goal is to eliminate V13 because V13 is an unknown constant. So I'm going to eliminate V13 using equation 2 and 3. So you get second equation. So third equation, you have to use the current loop. Current source 13 amperes. So 3 equations, 3 unknown. Solve and get the answer for I1, I2, and I3. Anybody is having doubt? Shall we go to the super mesh method? Shall we
Yes,
go to
sir.
second method? Yes.
Yes, sir.
See here. Yes. Anybody is having doubt? Okay. Second method, you see, the loop currents, we are going to assume it same base only, I1, I2, and I3, but you have to find the super mesh. How to find the super mesh is, you know this current source is only creating problem for you, right? This current source is only making you not to apply KVL that easily, right? So what we have to do, usually current source, we will do what operation we will do for current source? We'll open circuit or short circuit?
Short circuit, sir.
Current
Open circuit.
source.
Open circuit.
Open
Open circuit.
Open
Sorry,
circuit.
yes,
Open
sir.
circuit, sir.
Yes.
Circuit, sir.
So open circuit this current source and see what loop you get. If you open circuit the current source, what is this first loop is already there, so you should not disturb the first loop. If you open circuit this current source, what is the other loop you get? That is your super mesh. I have indicated that by dotted lines. Can you see? This is your super mesh. So you have to apply KVL in this super mesh. The current will be I2 and I3 only. You have to apply KVL in the super mesh. See, the first equation is same, so I'm not writing that. Second equation for super mesh, you see, 5. And for 5, you know, it is I1 is also flowing, I2 is also flowing. So it is minus 5 into I2 minus I1. This is your simple thing. Next, this loop consists of 5 ohms. I have written for 5 ohms. Now 6 ohms. 6 ohm, I3 is flowing. So it is minus 6 into I3. And for 13 volt, you see current is entering at plus, leaving at minus. So it is minus 13 equal to 0. So 5 I1 minus 5 I2 minus 6 I3 equal to 13. This is the equation for your super mesh. And if you see, this equation will be same as what we got here by eliminating V13. See here, 5 I1 minus 5 I2 minus 6 I3 equal to 13. See here also you see 5 I1 minus 5 I2 minus 6 I3 equal to 13. So you get a super mesh equation directly here. But there, when you apply KVL, you have to eliminate that V13 and get the equation for the super mesh. And equation 4, that is also same. I2 and I3, I3 minus I2 is going to be 13. So if you are going to solve, you'll get the same answer. I1 equal to 5, I2 equal to minus 6, and I3 equal to 7. Any doubt? Equation 1 and 4 are same. Writing equation, second equation is only going to be using the super mesh. Should I explain the super mesh again?
Yes, sir.
See here,
Sir.
so you have to apply super mesh technique when you find the current source common to the two loops. Okay, so see here in this circuit, current source 13 ampere is common to both loop 2 and loop 3. To identify the super mesh, what you have to do? Open circuit your current source. So if you open circuit your current source, try to find a closed path. So this one, what I have shown in dotted line is going to be your super mesh. Mesh is going to be a simplest loop, right? Super mesh means it is going to be a largest loop. That's why they have given the name super mesh. The super mesh will be larger than the other loops in your system. So this is your super mesh. The currents are still I2 and I3 only. So in the super mesh, use the current I2 and I3 and write the KVL equation. For 5 ohm resistor, you see, It is minus 5 into I2 minus I1. See, in this loop, I2 is the dominating current, so I2 minus I1. 6 ohms, I3 is the current, so minus 6 into I3. Minus 13 equal to 0. You get, if you rearrange, you get 5I1 minus 5I2 minus 6I3 equal to 13. So in that case, this equation, what you get here is the equation what you got previously by eliminating V13 using loop 2 and loop 3. There, we did it in 2 steps, but here, when you apply super mesh, you will get the answer in a single step. That is the one thing you have to understand, how to write the super mesh equation directly. We didn't assume the voltage across the current source as any value. We ignored the current source and we applied super mesh directly in this path. But previous case, what did we do? We applied KVL in 2 loops separately and then we eliminated the voltage across this 13 amp current source. So that is the 2 methods we have. We also have something called a super node. Maybe I am trying to find some interesting problems in super node. Maybe Monday or Tuesday, we will see super node also. How to find a super node. Super node means between 2 nodes, you will be having a voltage source. See, super mesh means you will be having a current source between 2 loops. Super node means these 2 are nodes, right? Between the nodes, you will be having one more voltage source. So this, for this, I cannot apply what is the current flowing through this voltage source. Only if you know that you can apply KCL, right? So that becomes tricky here. So in that case, I'll be considering this a super node and I'll be doing the actions appropriately. So super mesh means current source common to 2 loops. Super node means voltage source between 2 nodes. So in that case, for both super mesh and super node, you have 2 methods of solving. One is using conventional KVL or KCL. Second one is identifying the super mesh or super node and solving it. And the answer from both methods are going to be exactly same. They're going to be exactly same. Anybody is having doubts, you can ask. What we have seen today is super mesh. Super mesh means, remember, current source is common to 1 or 2 loops. Anybody is having doubts, you can ask. And one more thing I need to say, in your assessment, one problem was given, right? See, whenever you have a voltage source parallel to a resistor, it is effectively equal to what? Only the voltage source. You can remove the resistor. This is the simplified circuit. The always voltage source will have a series resistor, right? That is the conventional logic. But in any circuit, if you find an voltage source parallel to a resistor, then you can remove the resistance for analysis, because you know across parallelly connected components, voltage is going to be same. So this resistance is not going to create any effect because of the voltage source. This, I think, one problem came of this type. And many of you did not attend that because you have a wrong combination. It is simple. If you remove that resistance, then the problem becomes very, very simple. And what is the one more combination left in this? If voltage source series parallel with resistor, so what is the thing for current source, you can say? So whenever you are going to have a current source series with a resistor, current source series with a resistor, this is equivalent to what? You can neglect the resistor. So it is equivalent to what? Just the current source alone. So these simplifications, if you remember, some circuits, if you apply these simplification, then the circuit will become even more easier. See, always conventional logic is voltage source should have a series resistance and current source should have a parallel resistance, correct? But if you in any case, if you get the opposite combination, you can simply ignore that resistance and proceed with the calculation. That will make your problem very, very